think the honorable thing for our species to do is deny our programming. Stop reproducing. Walk hand in hand into extinction. One last midnight, brothers and sisters opting out of a raw deal.
Do not trust any friends or family members. I repeat, do not trust friends.
Same matter can't occupy same space.
Okay. So, hi everybody. Extinction Agenda, Timecop, no veto.
Yeah.
Who did this thing? Who did this thing to us? Himes? What was this fucking Peter Himes? Jean-Claude Van Damme.
It's 94.
Yeah, that's according to the old internet. A sweet hour and a half long. Perfect.
Oh, your favorite. If you're gonna watch a toilet bowl show, don't fucking jerk me around. Give me my 1 hour 0.5.
Yeah. And yeah, so this is in the early days. This is what superhero movies or comic book movies used to be like back in the day. This is a series of Dark Horse products that came out. I think I didn't look up all the dates, but I mean, like, you got Judge Dredd, you got Timecop, you have The Mask, and something else. I don't fucking remember. And that stuff all comes out at the same time. I don't know. Dark Horse must have made a mint, but it never really seemed to.
No, they're like a mint of the shittiest movies ever.
Yeah, right. This is what it used to be like, though. Yeah. So this was your choice, and I'll say that I was pleasantly surprised. This movie kind of charmed me. It wasn't good, but it had, like, I think we already talked about this, like, just a number of, like, really shitty, cheesy one-liners all the time. Some pretty good action, kind of a zany setup.
Yeah. Never interrupt me when I'm talking to myself. What do you mean? It had great one-liners.
Looks like safe sex to me. Yeah, there's no shortage of them.
If she farts, she'll get ahead of the pod.
I like this is also written. This is written, like, screen written by the people who did the comic book, and I meant to steal the comic book, which showed up in.
I still have them in my eBay basket, the 2 Dark Horse ones, like, just this,
right.
I'm thinking it's worth the. What am I $20? Like.
Yeah, I don't think the art's very good, but I mean the concept's fine, and also he wears, like, these weird. It's very different in, like, aesthetically. Fortunately, it based on, like, some of the screenshots I've seen that fortunately they didn't go with the original comics look.
Well, I don't know. The cover looked very similar to Van Damme's aesthetic here. This is also funny. This is Van Damme's highest grossing movie.
Yeah, I'm super. Well, like, at first I was surprised about that because I had barely any recognition of this movie. Like, it wasn't the Van Damme movie that popped it. Like, when you think of Van Damme movies, I tend not to think of Timecop. I will now.
Well, I think I feel like this marked the end of his career, sort of. Like, this is when I assume he was doing so. They said the guy fucking did so much cocaine that he was basically impossible to work with.
Right.
And then 1 year, or sorry, no, it's not 1 year. Excuse me. Like, a few years later, in '97, they had the Double Team with Dennis Rodman, but he was gone. He was done before then. I was probably just stupid to have him on set.
Yeah. So I'm just looking. We got the Timecop, Street Fighter. I don't know. That's arguably a bigger deal after that. But then we get
that was a big box office, or that was a big, like, theatrical release, like Street Fighter. Like, people were pretty fired up about that.
Yeah. But whether it did well is another question. Definitely ended up creating, like, a internet. But then you're right. Like, The Quest, Maximum Risk, Double Team, Legionnaire, fucking Legionnaire.
Yeah, and then we get into Universal Soldier: The Return. It's over. Like, it's all over. Like,
yeah. Yeah, nothing good after that.
He was on Friends also, 1996. So
yeah, I skipped right over that in my head. Yeah.
I think between 94 and 96, that's when Van Damme was, like, for me that's when he had maximum exposure. Like
Yeah.
that's when people were like most accepting. This guy's made it. He's the biggest shit. He's a big action star. I mean, he was a big action star before that, all through the fucking 80s and shit and 90s. But I feel like that's when his acceptability sort of just like for whatever reason nosedived.
Yeah, he certainly. Yeah, he peaked and then he declined. I think watching this movie, in comparing it to kind of modern action of a certain type. Like I'm thinking about how the Batman movies, you can't tell what's happening in any of the fighting. It's completely illegible. But with Van Damme, like they can pull the camera back and you can watch him. Like the choreography is excellent and the flow is great. Like the things he's pulling off are really exceptional. And you can follow all of it. It's not confusing in any respect. And I feel like that kind of action is disappeared. Like this is kind of maybe also the final flavor of like where I don't know when that comes to an end exactly. But
well, it's having a nowadays there's a thing where like having a legitimate martial artist as your action hero is not really a thing anymore. I'm sure there's some people balking right now at that, but
no, but when you can,
it's really like it's pretty rare. It's not just that he's it's not just that he's like a legitimate martial artist, because like I'm sure some people don't feel that he is, but he is. You can tell, you know. But he's also physical. Like he's big, he's strong. You know, so he can literally combat your stuntmen. You know.
Yeah.
So it's a big thing. You don't need fucking ropes. You don't need he has like a I don't know, he's so physical. He has like an unnatural way of moving almost that it looks good on screen, whatever.
Well, yeah, like he dodges a guy by going down in the fucking splits. That's crazy. Like I know that we made fun of that and or there's
Obviously.
a temptation to make fun of that, you know, like when you're a kid and even when you're an adult, but like
even when you see the famous scene in Timecop.
Yeah.
The taser.
Oh fuck. Yeah, he's fighting that guy in his living room now. And he wasn't afraid to show ass either. Like he was I think another thing that contributed to his popularity is just like he was the naked guy. He was very willing to be like the sexy action star, like as a Frenchman or whatever.
Oh yeah, he was nude. He was constantly nude. They never back then. They didn't do like male frontal, but I'm sure he would have been down.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
On the table, he was more than pleased to walk around nude. More than pleased to wax his ass.
if it was the 80s, yeah, he'd be hanging trowel or whatever. Dropping trowel. How's the saying?
I like that Civil War.
Right at the beginning?
Entry into the movie, too. Yeah, the machine gun heist.
Yeah, that's awesome. I like it. It's intriguing as an opening, and like I think we're going to say this a couple times. Like this movie's surprisingly, it's got a great flow. And
I was going to tell you, Kate watched it.
Right.
She plays a little game on the Nintendo Switch when I watch terrible shit for this podcast, and obviously she's not gonna participate, but she'll, you know, I gotta use the TV, man. You gotta give me a pass here. So we put on a show, and she dropped it. She dropped it to watch this. The concepts were well laid out. Like the concerns over time travel. They were and time travel is approached in like time travel's obviously been done to death. You know, and you know, post-apocalyptic futures and so on and so forth. But this had like a unique approach. You know, for however I can say that.
Yeah, it didn't like there. I guess there's a couple time travel type things you can do. You can kind of do like a quantum leap. You can do your Back to the Future. This is more of a Back to the Future scenario, and it doesn't. It like Back to the Future, it doesn't take the like time alteration too seriously. Like it dangles a concept your way and plays with it a little bit, like
Yeah, like
yeah,
you're not gonna go back in time, do something, and then come back, and they'll just be like rivers of lava and dinosaurs, right?
yeah,
It's
right.
it's pretty light. Like, oh, Billy died in that timeline now.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's pretty soft. It's actually got a pretty soft touch, in that sense. For what the stakes are actually, but because you can, aggressively travel back and forth in their scenario, you can just have fun with your immediate characters, which is what they sort of pulled off.
Yeah, and they because when I think the most juice they get out of it is out of like time travel's effects is Van Damme's like, I really got the impression that like you could go insane because like he goes into the past and something changes and he comes back and like his boss suddenly doesn't really recognize him anymore, and the entire future's been changed, but he remembers the way it used to be, and like he's sort of getting kind of fucked up by that, but not, because that would have been a different movie, and with this he just kind of has to like, oh, it's another hard day at the office.
Yeah, it's true that which would fucking, you could come home and your fucking wife could have a problem with you, like you would go mad, obviously,
Yeah.
if you were doing that job. But the other funny thing that they sort of plant right at the beginning, which throws sort of almost like a red herring at you. You're like, they're like, you can't go forward because the future hasn't been written, but you can go backwards.
Mm-hmm.
But then, like, the future, but you're not actually starting in the future. In the movie, like your starting point as a viewer is not in the future. Your starting point for Van Damme's character story is actually like earlier in time. So
right.
So the future has actually already been dictated, which makes the plot sort of confusing.
Right. That's interesting. I guess it's not that bad because he does ultimately, all of his time traveling is into the past, but from the slight future. Yeah, I hear you. Like, I don't know. No one listening who's seen this movie, like we're kind of talking. I think we're talking it over more than is really required. Like, it's pretty straightforward, but it's
yeah. I don't know if I'm
uh,
finding the only plot hole, or if that's a plot hole, or if I'm just confused by the way that I mean, and they're not portraying time travel in any kind of a way that would be confusing either. Like you say, the whole thing's linear. It's fun. Action's great. I like how the what's his name anyway in the movie?
whoa, who?
Van Damme.
Oh, in the that's a good question. You tell me. I have no fucking clue. Max Walker. There we go.
Is it Max? Yeah, Max Walker, which is a stupid name for him. But
fucking...
Max Walker. I like how Max Walker is confident that he'll win any fight against any number of attackers at any given time.
Yeah.
He gives that knowing glance, and that little head tilt. Come on. You really? You just said guys that he doesn't care what weapons they have. It doesn't matter. It's low stakes for him, which makes the character kind of funny also.
Well, he's like, even like the time traveling president villain. He's like, there's no question he's gonna beat that guy.
Well, that's the funny part is the stakes. The stakes for Max Walker aren't really Max Walker's life. That's established right at the beginning, because he's beaten within an inch of his life, attempted murder, and he just continues on with his career. So his life's kind of already forfeit because his wife was murdered, right?
Yeah.
So it's funny because the narrative treats him as he's invincible. So it's really the stakes for Max are his wife. That's it, and unborn child, which they like to
classic.
Yeah, you gotta bring it up and increase the fridging.
Yeah.
Always just add a pregnancy.
Yeah, so that's funny though, because I was thinking about this, because although the wife dies, like I guess the strict definition of fridging is something that motivates the hero, but Max Walker does not need the death of his wife to do that's not what motivates him to do anything. He's just it's like Chuck Norris or something. He's just out there, the ranger.
No, yeah. If anything, it demoralized him. Like it should. Which makes it semi-realistic. But he just continues on crime fighting.
Goes home at night, fucking starts drinking a bottle of rye and recreate, pathetically just like watching old videos with his wife and doing the dialogue and just kind of ironically living in the past.
Which is like funny and ironic and also like just dark and
and so all of this adds up. Like I think, sorry, I just watched Van Damme kiss Mia Sara, and there is no passion to it. He has zero capacity.
Oh no, he doesn't do that really.
Yeah, but like all of this high drama is sort of wasted on this. This, I don't know, like he's kind of a cipher. Like he's really just sort of going through motions of acting.
Well, yeah, that's funny because the character when his wife's dead, the character actually sort of caters to his behavior, like depressed, wifeless Max with no emotion. Yeah. Like that's actually it's just funny that he can't turn it on to make us believe that he cares about his relationship in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, even when he's fucking her right now, and oh god, there's a lot of tongue and breasts. I think I zoomed over this. This is a steamy sex scene. Good for them.
Yeah, it's a little over the top. But Van Damme brings it, in that way.
Yeah, he's not afraid to perform. Can I say that I have a preternatural attraction to Mia Sara? That's the chick from Ferris Bueller's Day Off. She's beautiful. And she didn't have much of a career, but definitely did it for me.
Definitely nice to see her make a comeback in Timecop.
Yeah. She had a career afterwards or whatever, but yeah, I mean, because
she's pretty
what we were
stunning,
watching.
to be honest.
Yeah. I was like, who is that girl? I know that girl, and I was like, fuck, it's Sloane. Anyway.
I thought for a split second, I thought you were going to say Van Damme. And I was going to say, no one would fault you.
He's beautiful. I'm preternaturally,
He's a unicorn. This whole thing, too, the presidential candidate bad guy was like a funny choice, too. Because this is going to be one of Van Damme's, when you're watching a movie like this with Kung Fu Guy as or whatever, Karate Master as your main, protagonist, you're looking for a fight to finish the movie. And you don't really get it because he's having a psychological warfare with this guy, but it's more like a fucking bitterness. Like he just hates this fucking guy right out of the gates because of that rat. And I love their court case. They do a fucking kangaroo court and then they send the guy back in time and just murder him.
Oh shit!
It's almost like a Judge Dredd world future where they bring you back to sort of a mediocre blue collar courtroom with no fucking jury or witnesses, and they go, yeah, you know what, guilty, sorry bro.
I forgot about that. Yeah, that's I guess you'd kind of have to though, like the laws of time. You're gonna have to really enforce that shit because you can't put someone on parole if they've altered the timeline, right? That's kind of a big deal, and it's also a national security issue, right. Not to mention global security issue. I really not to think about it too much, but these ideas, and I'm giving it too much credit by saying, but this is it's kind of in Philip K. Dick territory, and it's fucking Minority Report or something like that. There's this whenever science fiction concepts such as time travel or telepathy or prognostication interact with police services in the concept of law or whatever, that's that's a special type of science fiction. But obviously, this is an action adventure science fiction story. But
Yeah. Also, but like they did do like I don't know. The budget was fairly low, but like they made really interesting choices in their cheap budgets to like make me feel like I'm in the future, and they did a fairly good job. The cars and the cars and the computer. Yeah, I don't know. It was fairly unique like set design and concept art like led to this. Even like just slight tailoring differences in clothing and suits and police uniforms. Just I don't know. Just well done for what they were working with. I think the budget was like 27 million or something.
Yeah, I saw something to that effect. I gotta disagree about the cars. That really like, what the fuck happened to cars in the future? They just all turned into like mobile, ATVs or what are the, like troop carrying.
Yeah, I mean, I took it as they're all self-driving, so you just sort of you get in. It's more of like a little tiny office.
Right.
Needs a lot of sensors. I don't know.
Yeah, didn't really capture what the future looked like, but that's okay.
Yeah, so okay, you weren't down on that. That's fine. Fine.
That was the only one. Well, because like when he drives the car up to his like quaint old timey house where his his wife had been murdered, it looked especially ridiculous, but. That's
it's
right.
True, and there's nothing futuristic in his house. There's like a water cooler.
Right.
And
exactly.
And he's drinking he's got a half decent flat screen TV and he's drinking a fucking like a bottle of fucking Jim Beam.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not even like Blade Runner or something like that where you get the impression that it's it's retro. It's but
yeah,
also,
at least give me some neon signs out the windows or something.
Yeah, something. Yeah, there's the Time Commission. They're about to set him off to his fucking death. Just like that. So the presidential candidate guy, Ron Silver, what a beauty. What a great villain.
Yeah, you know what? I remember hating him growing up because I'm a Van Damme fan. I used to like his movies when I was a kid. Bloodsport,
Yeah.
Whatever. Let's go. Who doesn't love that? Kickboxer. But I remember hating this bad guy growing up and rewatching him. Man, what an ace! What an ace bad guy.
So slimy.
A high stakes motherfucker. Had all the angles covered. And just yeah.
Yeah. Although like his old timey self when he goes back in time and like the future version of Ron Silver is like so shitty, and that you get the impression that like past Ron Silver is a deer in the headlights. Like they're not the same person. Like this guy has over time like just one too many sex workers. One too many nights of like doing blow off of sex workers' tits or something like that. It just like drove him over the edge, turned him rotten,
turned him evil. It's true. Yeah, a bit too much of a difference there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was fine, but like it would have been kind of a different movie and kind of a maybe more interesting but unnecessarily complex movie if past Ron Silver was as slimy as future Ron Silver and they like tried to double cross each other.
You have a lot of different sci-fi ideas for time travel.
Yeah. I think something like that could have worked. That would have been interesting. But then again, that's not the movie they're selling. That's not the movie I need to see. I
love
like
the
that.
dude.
Oh, go on.
Oh, no,
I bet we're going to say the same thing. Yeah.
That we like the guy using the VR porn.
Yes, thank you. That was exactly what I was going to say. If I catch you fucking that computer one more time.
It's funny too because they nailed. I mean, in this sense, they actually, they got the future pinned down.
Yeah, getting back to what we were talking about earlier. Absolutely, yeah. You just, because I guess it's predictive AI programming that just like the only thing missing is the sex doll element. He's not actually.
I was talking to my brother about the VRs, like those expensive VRs they sell for like $800. Like, let's not kid ourselves here. You're playing 13 minutes of Batman and you're in the fucking hub on that.
Absolutely, yeah.
Come on, yeah. There's no, you don't buy a rig for fucking video games. Maybe, like, no, I won't accept that.
Well, I can't, like, I don't know. I've never played like a VR video game, so
I don't have one either. I've sampled some VR stuff at a conference thing for Sony before. I saw we had one come to work where I used to work, but outside of that, I played Batman. I actually literally played the Batman game. I checked that out for like a few minutes, and I was like, I see the applications for this. They're porn, not Batman.
Yes, of course. Yeah, I don't know what, like, unless we create, and we're getting a little off topic, but in case we like create a video game franchise, like, you'd have to be able to like walk around too and immerse yourself in a, like, I don't see like what having goggles on while you go in a 3D virtual environment, like, that's not really being anywhere. It's just sort of seeing more around you, but I can't help but feel that it's just going to be like any other video game. Anyway, whatever.
Mm. Well, that's not the way Zucky thinks.
No, that's true.
Zucky thinks you can go work in the
all the way.
Yeah, you can go just down into the slave pits, mining for iridium or whatever, and then go home to your one-room house and just go into the meta.
What more could you need?
That's it.
Yeah, I'm watching the sex video thing right now. I guess she's like, I like that she's pretty, but she's obviously to this guy's taste. Like, her teeth aren't excellent, you know. She's it's just like, it's a very particular choice.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah. I was also thinking about how massively inappropriate this would be in a workplace. Like, he's just got these like Android sex drawings, and he's just engaging in like VR sex at work.
Yeah, you work for the police.
Yeah. Well, and she's okay with it.
Yeah. Well, and then, I'm sure we're gonna get into that in when we cover ducks.
Yeah, I guess so.
Inappropriate male dominated workplace. The delivery of full blown misogyny was okay in '94.
Yeah. And she isn't even like so she in this case is fucking Fielding, played by Gloria Rubin. She's like the from the Special Investigations Unit. And anyway, we don't need to explain. It's a new sidekick. He gets a girl sidekick.
Yeah, new girl sidekick from Internal Affairs, betrayer.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. She turns on him, and actually, she was not bad. She wasn't bad either. Like, her nobody really embarrassed himself in this movie except for Van Damme, with the one-liners and whatnot. But they were so great that you didn't even mind.
One-liners, yeah.
I think my only complaint is that the time travel is stupid. Like, they get in that rocket thing, and then when they end up on the other side, the rocket's gone. And so, like, when you go back to the future, how do you get back in the rocket? Like, it shows people arriving again in a rocket. Like, what the fuck's happening? I don't get it.
I have no clue. Yeah. Like, I guess you have like a little pod to zip back to the past.
Sure.
Yeah.
None of that's depicted. But I don't know. Whatever. Doesn't ruin anything. I think. Although
no,
I think
actually, that slipped past me.
I don't know why. It bothered me a lot when I was a kid. I think, like, that's one of the memories I have of this. Is just like, this time travel doesn't make any sense. I can't watch this. And I didn't have the mature taste that I have now.
Great. I like the job on the gun designs.
Oh, like the new guns?
Yeah.
I'm zipping around here, see if I can find The earliest ones that I can find is when he shoots up all the horses in the Confederate days.
Right. Yeah. Later they have like the hand pistols that have that big sort of pop can on the end of them, you know?
Oh, right. Yeah. Yeah, that's like but I think that goes along with like the design of this movie. Like, so okay, what are things like in the future? Okay, cars will just be like garish and like canisters. Well, what about guns? Same thing. That's what we're looking for.
And they almost make like a blaster noise, choo 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 choo. But
yeah,
I don't know.
So we're not quite there yet. I mean, I think that, and again, this isn't really a complaint because it's not the sort of movie that I want. But like in a world in which time travel is possible, you would imagine some other things have to be possible. Like a sort of technological leap of some sort had to have occurred, but I think you already said like it's like they're still in the 80s or the 90s, but only certain small numbers of things have changed. Like even when he watches a movie, it's like he's watching it on VHS.
Yeah, because it probably is on VHS.
And they just had no idea. But yeah, ultimately it doesn't really matter. Because it's just about the Timecop. Ron Silver's bad guys.
I just saw him come back from the future, and he's just in the pod again.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Stupid. He should have to go back to his fucking DeLorean to get back, but
yeah, I don't know, something like it's whatever. It was fine.
Van Damme's endgame plot to like. I guess the turning point's when he discovers that his wife was pregnant, right?
Yeah, that's
when
like...
he decides. That's when he sort of goes off the rails and decides, "Fuck this! I'm interfering with time."
Yeah, and I'm gonna beat the bad guy, which is that's a baller move. I'm gonna fix time and get my wife back, and that's fair. No one remembers.
It's true. It's honestly like it's a power move. He still deals with the purse thief too. There's a class act.
Yeah.
Yeah. The fact that his wife's like down to let, grizzled future Van Damme like dictate the terms of his plan to her. She's a good sport and also strangely accepting of future men.
That's a tough one. Just imagine so Kate comes to you from the future. Like you still know this person, right? Even if they look different, like you're going to have a cognitive dissonance, but you're still going to I would imagine you'll still recognize them and still trust them.
Would you not tell your spouse though?
Well, if they asked you not to because of some time travel whammy bammy, I think I would for at least a week or two until it started. Like if it seemed like there was an immediate danger, I think I'd go along with it. But after a while, I would be like, what the fuck? I need more information. I need you to tell me what's going on. But it all happened so fast, right?
Also, Van Damme's plan was rock solid.
So fucking good, like clockwork. Just, he knows exactly when everything's going to show up. He's so good. This is why he's so confident. Because he knows that there's never enough time to pleasure a woman, and so you have to be efficient.
Which is that the moral of the story? That's
kind of it. It really. It's like they're like looking at clocks and yeah. It's again, I don't want to give this movie too much credit, but it has a unity to it.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like that should have been on the poster.
Absolutely. I mean, actually, who are we to say what should have been on the poster? Because apparently the movie did really well, but I think it would have done better with a little tweaking. Could have been Titanic big.
Yeah, I agree.
Wow. Pretty awesome the way that Ron Silver fucking gets taken out though. Like getting back to Van Damme's plan.
That was a risk. You roll the dice in 1994 by using those lawnmower CGI effects. Lawnmower Man, I mean.
Yeah.
real fucking iffy. But they decided to do it, which I respect.
It worked out. Like, it didn't look really bad. You know, it could have been so much worse.
It looked bad, but not really bad. It was actually shocking enough to be like, oh, what the fuck?
Yeah, because so the two bodies, the two Ron Silvers bump into each other, and they can't occupy the same space.
Correct. Yeah, that's it.
And so I'm about to see it here, and he's like, no, yep, you two should be closer. I'm still kicking. I must be on Broadway. Classic. So anyway, they start like melding into each other and like turning into this red. Yeah, it's screaming with these multiple arms, and it's pretty awful actually.
Yeah. Ask the Volmers.
Yeah. Yeah, and then they give it all sorts of like weird squidgy effects. I don't know. It's not bad. Like they didn't do it for long, so I think it otherwise it would have suffered from George Lucas problems. You know, if you keep CGI on the screen too long, you diminishing returns.
It's true. I'm just reading the one-liners now. Matuzak
what you got?
Had a few doozy. Here goes the pension.
That's okay. I think we'll need better than that.
No, there's nothing. You know, I mean, I think you got all the good ones.
Oh, fuck. Sorry, I'm just like...
Poor bastard. Tomorrow might have been a brighter day. The random Irish guy?
Yeah.
Random Irish bellhop?
I forgot when he freezes that guy's arm and then kicks it off. There's some really good kind of horrible violence in this that again is CGI. I think like kind of hats off to the special effects crew on this, like working with materials in an effective manner early on.
Yeah, because this should look like complete shit, and it looks old, but it doesn't look bad.
Yeah. Could have been a lot worse.
And honestly, like if you're thinking about 2023 versus 1994, and you watch a movie and it still has a good aesthetic, like, well, fucking kudos, you know?
Yeah. It still feels like in the way that older movies feel like TV. It still has moments of feeling like TV. But I think that's just because of the way, you know, like, I don't want to say things have evolved, but, you know, things have changed, technology's changed, cameras change, etc.
Mark Verheiden himself wrote The Mask, Timecop, and Swamp Thing.
Oh, was it? No, couldn't have been. Well, okay, but he did. Swamp Thing wasn't a Dark Horse thing, though, but he did Swamp Thing. Jesus.
He did in 2019, the new Swamp Thing DC series.
Oh, he's still kicking.
Yeah.
Jesus. Okay.
Oh, boy. Apparently he wrote Ash vs. Evil Dead also.
Not
what? Daredevil from 2016 with Ben Affleck?
No, 2016 isn't Daredevil. That's like Daredevil. That's the Netflix show.
Oh, the Netflix show. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Well, good for him.
Yeah, he does all your worked on Smallville. But anyway, he's got a good lineage, I guess. I mean,
he's got some chops. He's got some chops here.
He did all your Aliens
Galactica.
Comic.
He did, eh?
Yeah. Well, not like, I mean, those early ones, those early ones, a lot of them were Verheiden, assuming that's how we're pronouncing it. Yeah. So, Timecop, great. Like not the best movie you're ever going to see, but pretty good. I was very pleased. I mean, it wasn't Bloodsport or Kickboxer, but this was fucking great.
Yeah, I think it might be the best Peter Ham's movie. You know?
Is it? What else did that dude do?
Sudden Death with Van Damme.
Oh, Jesus.
End of Days with Schwarzenegger.
Oh, I see. Okay, so he's the okay, he kind of has a particular role in I'm not going to say that he ushered anybody off the stage because his movies were so shitty or whatever. I think he just he was around at the end of certain careers. Like Schwarzenegger, by the time of End of Days, I feel that that's like the end of something.
Yeah, that's probably. I think End of Days is probably the last Schwarzenegger movie prior to him running for governor, or it's in there.
Yeah, who knows?
2010, the year we make contact. He's responsible for that too.
Oh, great.
1984.
Yeah.
Yeah. No thanks.
No, he did 6 Day Collateral Damage. Anyway, who cares? So, anyway, I thought that was pretty good, and so now it's my turn to pick a movie, and I was thinking, and I think that we should do Being John Malkovich. I think we should do that.
Malkovich.
Mm-hmm. I hadn't seen that movie in a long time, and I think
me either.
Yeah.
Used to have it on VHS.
Oh, geez. Oh, man. Don't say such things. I guess it is a VHS movie. For anyone listening, the essay competition is wrapped up today. We got a good number of entries. We have to continue consulting and figure out who's the winner of what. So stay tuned. Yeah, individuals will be contacted as is appropriate. Thanks to all who entered. Really appreciate it. So charming. And we should thank them again in other episodes, because maybe not everybody wants to listen to Timecop. Not sure why.
Maybe. Yeah, weird if you don't, but yeah. Definitely enjoyed those entries. Enjoyed getting burned.
Yeah.
Feelings were hurt.
Yeah, in excellent fashion. I was like, "Oh,
oh." Yeah, there were some laughs at work.
So yeah, all right. So next time we get together for the No Veto, we'll do Malkovich. Next time you and I talk, I guess we're gonna dive back into Galactic Storm, fan favorite Galactic Storm.
Oh yeah, we took a couple on the chin over that too. Yeah.
I think also the numbers indicate that people aren't interested in us talking about this anymore. But
you know what?
We got to do it.
Yeah, don't be fucking babies. Finish Galactic Storm. Be a man.
Yeah. All right.
Now, all we need is a little energon and a lot of luck.